The royal palace of Navarra wasn't built on solid ground. It floated, suspended in the sky by colossal pillars of pure light. Each beam hummed with the energy of 1,000 suns, and the palace walls themselves seemed alive, flowing like liquid starlight and reflecting the endless cosmos. When I, Ethan, stepped off the crystal transport, the very air felt heavy, charged with judgment. Awaiting me were dozens of alien nobles, tall, silver-skinned beings draped in robes of shifting, iridescent colors. Their faces were blank canvases, but their eyes burned with a silent, mocking laughter. "That's the human," one whispered, the sound like rustling silk. "The one they call the mechanic?" Another sneered, the word dripping with disdain. I could feel the weight of their collective gaze dissecting every scar on my skin, every line etched by a lifetime of struggle. They saw it all, every imperfection. But I refused to bow my head. I just clenched my jaw, straightened my spine, and held my ground. Lyra, my guide, walked beside me, her own face hidden behind a polished metallic veil. "Ignore them," she murmured, her voice a low hum. "They feed on weakness." Just then, a deep, commanding voice echoed from above. "Bring him forward." A massive door of silver light dissolved before us, revealing a hall so vast it seemed to stretch into eternity itself. At the far end of the glowing corridor stood a girl dressed in simple white. She was barefoot, her feet resting lightly on the floating floor of light. Her eyes were closed, yet her face held a serene, almost otherworldly calm, soft, innocent, and strangely peaceful. Around her, petals of glowing glass drifted like living, breathing stars. Lyra moved to her side and knelt gracefully. "My princess," she whispered, "the human has arrived." The blind princess, Aris Navarra, turned her head slightly, drawn by the sound of my heavy footsteps. A small, knowing smile graced her lips. "You walk heavily," she said softly, her voice like music, gentle yet certain. "You've known hard ground, not clouds." I stopped a few paces away, suddenly feeling out of place in my worn boots. "You're Princess Aris?" She nodded, her eyes remaining closed. "Yes, and you're the man they chose to marry me." A wave of mocking laughter rippled through the alien court, sharp and cruel. But Aris simply raised a hand and the sound died instantly, smothered by her silent authority. She tilted her head, as if listening to something I couldn't hear. "They said you are ugly," she stated, her tone calm and matter-of-fact. "But I can't see faces, I only feel hearts, and your heart, it's loud." I didn't know how to respond. Her words cut deeper than any insult, yet felt more profound than any compliment. Lyra stepped forward, her voice laced with official urgency. "The council awaits your acceptance of the union, princess." Aris smiled faintly. "Of course. But first, I want to speak with him. Alone." Gasps of disbelief spread through the hall. No one questioned protocol. Ever. But Aris paid them no mind. She turned and began walking toward a smaller, glowing doorway. "Come, human," she said, her voice a soft invitation. "Let me see you." In my way, I followed her into a smaller chamber, a sanctuary filled with floating lights and soft, humming crystals. The air here was warm, and the constant judgment of the court felt a million miles away. Aris stopped in the center of the room and reached out her hand. "May I?" I hesitated for a moment, then gave a curt nod. When her fingertips touched my face, they began to glow with a faint, warm light. A soft pulse of energy rippled through my skin. It didn't hurt. Instead, it felt like she was reading me, every memory, every scar, every broken piece of my soul that I had spent a lifetime trying to hide. Her voice trembled when she spoke. "So much pain, but not hate. You fixed machines to survive, but you also fixed people. You saved lives, didn't you?" I swallowed the lump in my throat. I did what I could." Aris smiled again, a genuine, radiant smile this time. A single pearlescent tear escaped from under her closed eyelid and traced a path down her cheek. "Then you're already beautiful." I froze. No one had ever said that to me before. Not like that. Not from someone who couldn't see the rough exterior the world had given me. Suddenly, the entire room trembled violently. A deafening alarm blared through the palace, and the light walls flickered, turning an ominous, pulsing red. Lyra burst into the chamber, her veiled face betraying her panic. "Princess, the outer ring has been breached." "Who?" Aris asked, her composure unshaken. "The House of Vareth," Lyra replied, her voice strained. "They say the union must not happen. They believe your marriage to a human will bring shame to all of Nivara." I stepped forward, the reality of the situation crashing down on me. "They're attacking because of me?" Lyra nodded sharply. "They call you a disease that must be erased before the wedding can proceed." The walls shook again, more violently this time. Outside, I could see flashes of hostile blue energy exploding against the palace's defenses. Aris turned toward me, her blind gaze seeming to pierce right through me. Her voice remained calm, a steady anchor in the swirling chaos. "Do you still wish to leave, human?" I looked at her, this fragile, blind princess standing as the epicenter of a conflict that could tear her world apart, and shook my head. A strange sense of resolve settled over me. "No," I said quietly, my voice firm. "I think it's time someone fought back." Lyra stared at me, her surprise evident even through her veil. "You're outnumbered. You have no weapon." A faint, wry smile touched my lips. "I don't need one. I used to fix ships." I bent down and picked up an energy crystal that had fallen during the tremor. My hands, calloused from years of work, moved with practiced speed, rewiring the intricate circuits within. The crystal flared to life, glowing with an intensity far brighter than before. "Let's show them what ugly can do." Aris laughed, a soft musical sound that filled the chaotic room. And for the first time, the blind princess of Nivara looked truly, fiercely alive. Outside, enemy fighters streaked through the star-dusted sky, intent on destruction. But inside that palace, something new was being born. Not fear, not hate, but a dangerous, stubborn, human kind of courage. As the first enemy blast shook the palace walls to their very foundations, I whispered, more to myself than to anyone else, "If they came for a joke, they're about to hear the punchline." Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you loved this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss what happens next. See you in the next one.